All right. Well, it's after 7. Mr. Hoffman, you're the only resident here. One resident and the applicant.
Let's flip a coin.
So you've been to a few of these, Mr. Hoffman. Do you recall my explanation of the zoning process, or would you like me to go through that again?
No, you don't have to.
I'll just be really brief then. Did we talk on the phone today?
Yes.
Okay. So I described to you what the planned district would do as far as only being able to build what was shown on the plan if it gets approved.
Yes.
The future meetings after this one, if the application is made, and right now there's been no actual application for a zone change, this meeting is required before people can apply for the actual zone change. So if the application is made, there would be a future Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission meeting, a Symmes Township Zoning Commission public hearing, which you would get notice of, and a Board of Township Trustees meeting. And the trustees have the final say on whether to approve or not approve a zone change. So the Planning Commission makes a recommendation, the Zoning Commission makes a recommendation, staff makes a recommendation, and the trustees have the final decision. And that will be a notified public hearing as well. So you get notice of that also.
Okay.
So we've received a different request than the previous ones for this property. I believe you've seen a copy of it because we were talking about it today. And so I'll just turn it over to Chris and let him describe the proposed development, and then we'll open it up for any questions that you might have. So Chris, go ahead.
Thanks, Brian. I know this is like round 7 for us. Michael,
Yes.
Thanks for joining tonight. I'm glad at least there's somebody in the audience. What we're looking to do right now is develop the site, put a street in, and on the north-hand side, that would be the left side of the road, put 8 single-family homes on that north side or on the left side. So the front of them would face 71. The rear of the houses would face the woods or face 5 Seasons. Okay. On the right-hand side, we have a 2-story building that's only 35 feet height. So it's the same height as the other townhomes on the left side. No taller. And we've got front entry garages with 4 townhomes. So it's townhomes. It's a garage on the first floor. So you enter into the garage on the first floor. There's a separate entrance right there for each townhome. And then your living quarters, though, is on the second floor. So those townhomes are a little bit different. They're a little bit smaller townhomes on the right-hand side. But then as you drive around that 2-story townhome on the lower side of that building, what we're proposing is to put a small office space for 10 employees back there, and also have space, about 1,000 square feet of community space on the backhand side, lower rear, for the 12 people that would live in the small little community. So we're planning on having a pool table and a bar inside, and just a place that people can come and commute and get out of their house. So that's our plan that we're working on right now. Wanted to get your guys' feedback or your feedback and see what your thoughts are.
You're referring to me?
Yeah, you're the only one here to throw tomatoes at me tonight.
Okay. So, this is your 3rd try at this. I think the original, about 3 years ago, you wanted to build an office building for your business. And I guess in some ways that was rejected. That was a lot smaller project than this, but this is smaller than your last project. This has been going on since 2005. I don't think this piece of property was ever intended to be developed. I mean, I think it was just this little sliver of property that was available that was left over from when Huttenbauer sold probably to the state for I-71 to go through. It's unfortunate that you took down all the trees before you got approval to build anything, but that's water over the dam. A couple things. Your description or the description from Symmes Township is a little deceiving because it talks about the property being approximately 350 feet south of Trotter's Chase. I live on a corner of Trotter's Chase and another street in Somerset. And you're talking, when you say 350 feet, it makes it sound like it's pretty far away. As it turns out, that's the most southern tip of the property. The actual other property line is probably 30 or 40 feet away from Trotter's Chase. So that's one thing. Another thing, I was looking at some of the specs on the zero, I guess it's 00, not 00. And one thing in your letter to Brian down in the last paragraph calls out 10-foot side yard setback. I'm not sure what that means, Brian. I think it means there's 10 feet between each house.
And that's our intention, yes.
Well, the requirement is 15 feet in that 00 office district between houses, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what I read today, that it is 15 feet. The other thing I was just wondering, you talk about the height of the building. I mean, if you look at this property, where the original road was in there, it's kind of flat, I guess. But then when you go to the left towards Trotter's Chase, it really drops off. I mean, it really drops off. I don't know how you would plan on filling it or something, because if you filled it where these houses are, you would have to put a huge retaining wall or the back of the houses would be maybe 50 feet high, like a walkout, because of the way the property is. You can't tell that from the aerial pictures, but that's the way it is. I've been over there. And then there's this big gully from the property to the actual street, which I would think would require like a bridge or something. I don't even know if you can fill that in. Brian, can you tell me if, on this one aerial view where they have a red kind of triangle showing the property, is that accurate? And if it is, then the property doesn't really go to the road. It stops short. So who does that belong to? The county or the?
Yes, it's the road right away. That's why
Right. Well, how do you develop that? I mean, you have to put a bridge.
No, the county controls that road. Snyder Road is a county road, so the county engineer just has to review and approve the driveway curb cut that would access their road within their right of way. So all parts of the driveway that go into their right of way and touch their road have to meet their standards.
But what if it's this huge drop off there? Like a big gully.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
So back in the very beginning, when we bought the property, that was our first order of business, and we worked with the county engineer to actually identify the location of which we have to insure the property, and he has identified that location. And what we'll have to do is we'll have to pipe the area running parallel with Snyder Road and fill a little bit of that area in and come off of Snyder Road. Then when we develop the street, and the street goes back kind of down through the property, on the left-hand side, you're right, we'll have 2 stories coming out of the ground, and then there'll be a lower level that is a walkout lower level. And so that's the plan for that side of the property. So we've already met with the county engineer. He's already approved the plan. The entry, sorry, not the plan. He's already approved the ingress and egress point, and we have subsequently just last week received Metropolitan Sewer District sewer availability. So I think we've got all the pieces to be able to proceed with the project, and we intend to proceed with it. The last time that we were in front of you, in front of Brian here, the second time, maybe not the last time, we were going to put 144 apartments on this site. And I think this is a major scaled down version of what we were going to do at some point in the past. based upon feedback that we receive from yourself and others.
I realize that, but the first meeting when we met in person at the Symmes office, all you wanted to do is put in an office building at that point, and people objected to that because of people coming in and out. And this entrance, I mean, I can't really talk about it probably because it won't make any difference. But that entrance, it looks like the scale. I was trying to figure out the scale because this aerial view shows 1 inch equals 30 feet. Well, obviously this is smaller. So it looks like it's about maybe 90 feet away from Trotter's Chase. And the Trotter's Chase street is directly across from an entrance to that Five Seasons. And I've been there many times when, people are kind of facing each other and saying, well, who's going to go first? Who's going to turn? Who's going to, so it's not the safest area. And to have something with 8 residences, which, I'm sure there are 2 people in each residence with cars and so forth. And then the office building, it's still going to be a challenge, I think, that way. The other thing is, if I were in your shoes and I really wanted a nice office building, I would propose something weird like an office with 4 townhouses above it. And once that was approved and I built it, I might just make those townhouses offices.
Yeah, so we talked about this earlier. That would not be something he would be allowed to do.
Okay.
So if he gets approval for offices below townhomes and comes in for just an office building without the townhomes, we're going to have another public hearing where everybody's going to be notified, because that would be considered to be a change to the approved plan that would require a public hearing.
I understand that, but that would also be after it was rezoned.
Yeah, Michael, I think, speaking candidly with you, I think the township is pro-development, and I think the township might see this as a pro-development site just because of its general location. So why I'm saying that is, if I wanted to propose a 4-story office building, I would propose a 4-story office building now. That's not what we're intending to do. If I get office on the 1st floor and townhome above it, and I go to get my building permits, and I'm showing all office through the townhomes, I'm not going to be able to get my building permits because they're going to kick it back to Brian, and Brian's going to say, no, that's not what you signed up for, Chris, and that's not what I approved. So that's not our intention, and that's not what we're going to do. Where I would apply for it now.
Okay.
I mean, Brian, would you agree? I mean, I wouldn't get my building permit.
Yeah, it wouldn't be what I approved, though. It would be what the town.
Sorry.
You're right. You wouldn't be able to get that building permit. We would stop it because it wasn't consistent with the plan.
Is this going to be a homeowner association? What's the connection between all the houses?
Yeah, we're going to create a homeowners association there. We're going to manage the homeowners association.
And what price range do you intend the houses to be?
They're going to start at $595 and probably go up from there. They'll probably be in the mid 6s with the finished floor and the finished basement.
You could get a nice house in my neighborhood for that price without being above the expressway.
Yeah, I know. Well, and you might be interested, because I don't know what year your house was built, but these are going to be brand new, and the market's really looking for new construction right now. So you might fall in love with this site. It's going to have walking trails and down by the birds and the river and the little stream and a little walking path over to Five Seasons. You might be a biggest supporter when we're done with it.
Possibly.
Did you previously, there was some discussion about working with Five Seasons on connecting and stuff like that. Is that still something that you're thinking about doing?
We would love to do it. Unfortunately, I don't know that Five Seasons, after the kind of the downturn that they had last year with memberships and loss of revenue, that they are really open to doing anything right now, unfortunately. but we're going to work with them on memberships, right? So we're going to have a walking trail, like I said, with a little pedestrian bridge to get over the creek so that people can walk over to Five Seasons. And so what we're working on from our sales strategy is when you buy one of the houses, you're going to get, a couple year membership that's prepaid to Five Seasons, so you can take your family over and enjoy the club.
If you're talking about building a trail, you need to show that on the plan. If you don't show a trail on the plan and then you come back and want to cut down some trees and do some grading to build a trail, you're not going to be able to do that without another public hearing. So you don't have to have the exact location picked out, but pretty close to it, and show it on the plans when you go through the process.
Okay. Yeah, we're working on a colored site plan actually right now with the elevations and stuff so that you can clearly see all elevations of the houses. Michael, I think you'll be really, really proud to have us as neighbors. I mean, there's going to be upscale houses that we're going to be building here, and not in your township, but across the street from you. And I don't think it's going to hurt the value of your houses at all.
I'm not worried about the value of my house, really. But that has nothing to do with it, really, as far as I'm concerned. You showed in your other plans retention ponds. Isn't one required for this property, because you're covering an awful lot of ground with buildings?
I don't know. I don't think we'll have retention that's going to be required. Like in a storm tech detention basin or anything like that. We'll probably have some underground under the parking. We'll probably have some detention, but it's naturally just going to leak out into that stream that's down there. That's what the plan is right now, but we're still working through the final engineering of that.
Yeah, so if one is required, you'll be required to build it. You want to find that out before you go through the process also, because again, if you show, dedicated open space at the end of the cul-de-sac and you end up having to tear that all out to build a detention pond, that's going to be a problem for you. So you'll want to know that. I don't know what the storm sewer situation is in Snyder Road. If you're connecting to it with the existing street, that would take care of some of it, but you're going to be required to provide detention for that office at least.
Yeah.
And all the downspouts from the houses are going to have to be required to connect to the storm sewer in the street. Whatever detention is required will be required by the Hamilton County Stormwater and Infrastructure Division, and they'll have to meet that or they won't get their plans approved. This is a public street. It's going to require a subdivision review and approval process before anything can be built. And as part of that, there's what we call an improvement plan or construction documents that have to get routed and reviewed by all the agencies, including Waterworks and Soil and Water, Stormwater Division, the county engineer, and MSD. So everybody has to review all of the construction plans before anything can even be built. So Mr. Hoffman, at that time, all the detention requirements will have to be shown on that improvement plan, or they won't be able to get approval to start construction.
Back in 2005, when this was I guess it was Sam Huttenbauer Jr. was trying to develop this, and it was before the trustees, and I don't know who it was, but somebody up there said, I just can't approve of this seat of the pants engineering. And to me, this is a little bit of that.
Well, I think if you'll give me the opportunity to fully bring our developed plans in front of the Planning Commission when we officially submit, you'll see that this is not seat of the pants. We had topo out there. We were surveying it. We were slowed down a little bit in the last month, basically because all the snow was setting on the site. But the guys got back out last week. When the snow melted, we were able to get real shots of the elevation. We were able to work 95% of the storm basin and the storm back to Snyder Road. We have capacity to get there. So we'll fully vet out and get through all of the questions that we have that we know will come up through the development process, through, like Brian said, through all the county departments. And it'll be a well thought out developed plan when it comes in front of the Planning Commission.
And just so you're aware, Mr. Hoffman, even then, in 2005, when that first project came through, zone changes, the reason that after you get a zone change approved to a planned district in Symmes Township, there's a final public hearing with the Township Zoning Commission for the final development plan. And the reason for that is that not very many people will spend the money to do detailed engineering up front of a zone change, not knowing if they'll ever be able to build what they're proposing to build. And the zone change process that's laid out in the Symmes Township zoning code acknowledges that and allows for you to submit more of a conceptual plan of here's what we want to do for the zone change. And the idea is that if it gets approved, then the developer spends all the money, does the final plans, and brings those in for final development plan approval by the zoning commission at one last public hearing. And then, as I said, in this case, this is also going to be a subdivision with a public street being constructed. So it has a whole other level of review that it goes through after all of that is done. So at this point, it's not unusual. In fact, it's common for the developers to not do the full detailed engineering. Our encouragement in my office is that they do as much as they need to make sure that they're not going to get themselves in a situation where they get something approved that they can't build. But other than that, they're allowed to submit conceptual site plans for zone change approval, because with the understanding that you're spending all of the money to completely design the project up front and then get denied for the zone changes. And it is not something that the township's interested in making all the developers do that come through.
We actually wouldn't even have to own the property to try to get it approved, which is what happened in the first instance.
Well, you don't have to own the property. No, the property owner has to sign the application, but anybody can have a property under contract and propose the zone change and pay for all of the plans, as long as the owner has a contract and signs the zone change application. I think it's what happened in 2005.
Yeah, right. On just one other note, Chris, you haven't really been the greatest neighbor so far. And this has something to do with Symmes Township, not with you, Brian. And the fact that you went in, you cut down the trees, you have the right to do that because it's your property. You didn't have the right to take out the trunks and so forth because you didn't have a permit, and it could have caused all kinds of problems there. You have not cut down any weeds. That is a requirement as far as I know. I just read it for with Symmes Township, that any property owner has to take care of the property. You had a construction trailer on there for a while, and I guess you got rid of that. You had a boat on the property for a while. I haven't been by there because I'm in Florida, but I had some friends go by. I think you have some bags of something. I don't know if it's rocks or something. A bunch of it's sort of like it doesn't look very good, and you haven't even moved in.
Well, we have it as kind of a staging area right now where we have some brick and some stone and some stuff from a different project. It's, my property, and I'm using it as a place to store some stuff right now. When we just came out of the winter time, I don't know that I wanted to go out and trim the hedges because it was, 10 degrees last week here. So
it's weeds over the summer that you did.
I mean, just because you said that, and this is an open meeting, that using it for storage is a zoning violation. I'm not sure if you've spoken to Emily Whitty about that, or if anybody's complained to her, or she sent you any kind of notices, but.
Yeah, I had a boat and a trailer there, and we had to move it. So I did talk with her, and we moved it last year. I had the boat there, I think, all of 2 weeks or something. It was a major crisis.
I thought you had talked to Emily.
It was a major crisis. So we moved it. And, I don't think I'm hurting anybody's value. I mean, it's between 71 and Snyder Road. You drive by it every day. Unless you see trees, you're seeing cleared field right now. We fully anticipate on developing the site this year. So we will pretty it up. We like to put a burn. If we can get the approval from the county, we'd like to line up Snyder Road and make a nice burn there with some pine trees and really beautify it. And, make it feel like a little utopia when you get back into the subdivision.
Utopia with a high noise level.
You know what? I don't, I mean, I don't know if you've been following the real estate market here, but
I'm in a place right now. Have you ever heard of Coulter Homes?
I have not.
Well, they're building thousands of homes with zero lot lines that start at 700,000 and they can't build them fast enough. So you know, well, that's Florida, but
Yeah, I mean, we've got 4 pre-sales on our houses here, and we haven't even broke ground yet. So I'm optimistic that there's people out there for the houses. So appreciate your feedback. Is there anything else that you think I should do other than to try to put the burn and the pine trees up on Snyder and along 71 to try to block down the visualization of being on the road? Is there anything else that you think we should think about?
me or Brian?
You.
No.
I'm not here to talk about how the design of the development is.
Okay. All right.
I'll come to the open house.
Well, this is the open house.
Talk about open houses of his houses and try to sell them.
Oh, I got you. We're talking about.
Good.
Yeah, that's a long ways down the road.
Yeah. Well, that, you know, I hate to see it develop that way. I mean, I would prefer to see, you know, a small group of single family homes, but you know, you can't make any money doing that. Period. Without any kind of offices.
Yeah.
Well, just
Okay.
looking at the plan, the only thing I could think, Chris, is you realize that you're butting your right of way up against the right of way of I-71, right? So between the road and the interstate, you won't actually be able to plant anything unless you leave yourself a little strip there. I don't think that, I know that the vegetation that exists there, if you can keep it, I know at times previously you were talking about having to get into there and grade it and getting a permit from ODOT to clear the right of way.
I got the permit and I got the ability to vegetate it and maintain it.
So they're going to let you plant trees back in there right away?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure if you need to leave yourself 10 feet of plant or something like that.
We're still going to do that because I'm going to put on our side of the right of way. I plan on putting another berm there, right? And with a 7-foot solid fence with some pine trees there on our side, not on their side, but on our side. So we're trying to make it as green as we possibly can make it. You know, when you get back in there, the noise is always going to be there from 71. We can't get away from that, but we're trying to block the visualization of it.
Well, so there's the way you're showing it now, you won't be able to put any mounding. Like the county engineer is not going to allow you to put mounding inside the right of way, and if it's butting up against 71, you won't be able to do that. And just looking at it, you're proposing a full size subdivision street, 50-foot wide and 28 feet of pavement. The county engineer does have a PUD street standard with a 40-foot right of way and a 25-foot pavement section.
Okay.
You consider if you want to save yourself some room or push the buildings up closer to the top of the hill or any of that. Because you're going through a 00 planned office district, you would be in a PUD and you would be able to use the PUD street standard.
Okay. And that's 40-foot, 24?
40 and 25.
40, 25. Okay, thank you.
And then I don't know, we haven't talked about subdivisions in a long time, Chris. You understand the process you have to go through after zoning, right?
I think so. It's forever, right? It's probably another 90 days.
It's the Regional Planning Commission preliminary plan approval, the improvement plan review and approval by all the agencies to sign off the final routing, and then record plat after that.
Okay. All right. If we get the letter submitted tomorrow, when would we be in front of regional planning?
But I do not have the deadline sitting in front of me right now. It won't be until, it's not gonna be April, it won't be till May. So May Planning Commission, May Zoning Commission, trustees, maybe in June. And then you've got the final development plan in there somewhere, but we typically don't make you go through that once you get the zone change approved until after you get through the improvement plan phase. But before you're allowed to record the lots, you'll have to schedule a zoning commission meeting for the final development plan. And the reason we do that is because when you go through the subdivision process, you get to the improvement plan, and that's where everybody actually starts to really look at all of the details of the street and the sewer and the water and all of that. And sometimes lot lines need to change a little bit, or the road needs to be realigned slightly. And if you've already got your final development plan approved, by the time you get to that point and you're making minor adjustments, there is no minor final development plan modification. Every final development plan modification requires a hearing. So that's why we would allow you to put that off until after you get through the construction documents phase of your subdivision.
Okay. All right.
But so you have the zone process is regional planning, zoning commission, township trustees for final consideration. If they approve it, you still have to go through the zoning commission again. You take the same plan back to the zoning commission for final development plan hearing. And in there also is the whole subdivision process, which is preliminary plan by the planning commission, improvement plan signed off by all the review agencies, and then the record plat approved by staff once the improvement plan is done.
Okay. So we're looking 6 months probably.
Easy, probably a lot longer than that, actually, probably more like 8.
Okay. In normal times, or just because is everything done online now?
Everything is done online. That's the process that's laid out by state law. It has nothing to do with COVID, and it can't be made any faster. That's just the minimum timeframes for all the notices and all the required hearings that state law lays out.
Okay. All right. So maybe if everything goes well, we maybe cut the street in the fall and maybe start the first house.
Yep. That's
Michael, you come out and cut the ribbon with us.
There you go. Yeah. Want me to cut down?
You're talking about Michael, right?
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Michael and Brian.
Yeah. Mr. Hoffman, do you have anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, that's much faster than the hour that we allow for these meetings. So thank you for coming. Share the information that you have with your neighbors. If anybody has any questions, I think, I'm not sure if my phone number was on the notice that went out, but you called me today, so you obviously know my number.
Yeah, I called.
Anybody that has any issues or questions or wants to know about the process or thinks of something that you didn't bring up tonight, let me know. I did take notes of your concerns. Those will be incorporated into our staff report that we present during the process to all the commissions and boards that will review this request if it's applied for. So if anything else comes up, give me a call. Otherwise, that will be the end of the meeting. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, where do I find the zone change applications? Online?
It is. It's on our website. It's under the Symmes Township zoning tab.
Okay. All right.
It's the Development Services Division of Hamilton County Planning and Development.
Okay.
If you get there, then on the left side, there's a tab for Symmes Township, and all the Symmes Township forms and application deadlines and everything are there.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Thank you, Brian. Have a good night.
No problem. You too.
Bye-bye.
See you, Jana.
Bye, Brian.
Bye.